Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video. This is David Pendleton, and now I'm going to cover the Mirage 9-hole cup tournament for the Pro Division. I'm going to go ahead and just hop right into it. This is the final round. A little bit tough, but here we go. Hole number one. A couple of these shots are really close. A few of them are nowhere close, so we're going to have a mixed basket here of a replay walkthrough for you. 5 top, 1 bar of side spin to the right. We put most of our orange ring in the rough and with a little bit of it sitting right there on the fairway. Here we make our adjustment for wind, and of course we're just trying to hit a perfect ball. We do hit perfect, and we get this ball to sit nicely on the fairway, leaving us for actually a really good chance for an albatross on shot number 2. Completely different wind angle than what we had in the qualifying round, but we can still get you here. All right. So we're going to go with some backspin. Here we're going to go with about 3.4 bars of backspin. And then this is going to be the green square for the reference that we're looking at right here. What I need you to do is move this over to the right about half a green square more. And then we make our wind adjustment. And you'll see how this ball comes in. We get that perfect ball, so you really get to learn from this miss. But you'll notice that we missed by about half a green square to the left. Now, the thing with this one is, it was only 5.2 mile per hour wind. Let's say you get into the high 6s. You'll need to move it over even a little bit more to the right. But that's going to give you a really good reference point to start with hole number 1. You could even take a practice ball or two and see if you can get that albatross to drop and get yourself off to a smoking start on the final round. All right, hole number 2, I'll show you a couple different ways you can approach it. The first one here is going to be with our rock club and a Titan. We're going to go with 2 bars of side spin to the right. And you're going to see here, no top spin, no back spin. I make my wind adjustment. And then from here, we're not going to be using any curl. This is just a normal shot. Unfortunately, I hit a great drive, but I do get away with it, so no harm, no foul. And this will get us here to shot number 2, in which I suggest you play 5% at max. And we'll take a look at the spin adjustments here. Here's where I'm aiming. Notice I'm aiming a tad short of the pin, and I am offsetting to the left-hand side. If that ball guideline were to extend further, it would not be in the cup. It would scoot past it right there on the left-hand side. As far as the backspin goes, the backspin is going to vary depending on your drive. But for me here, it's about 3.2 back. Notice my yellow ring is right there on the rough line as well. Perfect ball. Now with this green here on hole number 2, it rolls to the right hand side and it still comes in a little bit fast. So I would suggest using maybe 0.1, 0.2 more back and then more of an offset to the left hand side. But holes number 1 and hole number 2 can be dropped. If you're able to pick up one of those two, you'd be off to a hot start. If you're lucky and get both of them, then you're smoking. You're on your way to possibly win this thing. All right, here is another way to play hole number 2. You could take a berserker if you wanted, and you could go with as much top spin as you want, combined with 2 bars of side spin to the left. Getting a very, very strong wind push here at 8.5. I make my wind adjustment, and then I push back up to max. And then I use about half a ball of OP with a lot of curl to the left. We hit the fairway. Unfortunately, I didn't use enough curl. We needed more curl. We need to go with about a quarter more ball curl there to the left to get ourselves onto the fairway. This is no harm, no foul. This is very easy to save your birdie from this distance. You just take, your Malibu and you just lay up on the green and you're good to go. Hole number 3 is difficult to get this one right. We're playing 5% at max. We're playing with the Kingmaker. I mean, that's just simply to reduce the wind. And then what I'm doing here is I'm going with, about 1.2 bars of backspin with about 2.2 side spin to the left. I've got my green ring up on the rough line, and you can see my ball guideline here is going through the hole entirely. I make my adjustment. We hit a perfect ball. We clip that rough, but the thing is we're going to stop short of the hole, by about 1 green square. So you'd really have to find a way to get this ball to drop to extend your ball guideline beyond the pin. So you want to catch the slope behind the pin and then hope that the ball goes into the hole. Hole number 3 I struggled with. I didn't really spend a lot of time on practice tokens on it since I missed the first 2 holes. But then that takes us into hole number 4. Hole number 4, this one is tough in a headwind because if you push the drive too hard, you could experience that fairway roll to where it just flies past the fairway and then into the rough. But here, you're going to see that I go with 6 bars of topspin combined with 1 bar of side spin to the left. What I'm looking for is to make sure that my second bounce remains up there on the green, just like that. I back up to the plus 12 so that I can accurately pull my rings without going into overpower. Just like that, it pulls right back into the plus 16. Here I take a normal shot with no OP. I hit perfect. The thing that I would suggest on this drive is I would use a click of overpower because we really want to get to at least 370s in the yards. 359 is not going to be enough to get the rough bump in back-to-back headwind. You'll see here that I can't play that rough bump at all. So I'm going to have to back up and play this shot, which is no big deal. I played this one 5% at mid, 3 bars of side spin to the left, and then enough top spin to get me through the hole. At the end of the day, this is too much left side spin. We hit perfect. And that ball just takes us off to the left-hand side. So actually, I like the speed. I think we need to reduce the side spin to 2 if you're in the same position as me. And then just kind of hope that one can get into the hole. That's going to be a hard one to drop when you're having to do the bounce over shot. You're much better off to go with a rough bump. But again, we need more yards, or we have to bump up to a more powerful ball, possibly a money ball P4 or a money ball P5 that has good wind resistance. So that's hole number 4. Hole number 5 here, this shot was actually sent to me by a couple folks on Messenger, and they got this one from Neo. So I guess he played early this morning, but they said if I need any help on hole number 5, to give this a shot. And I'll tell you that I tried to use a sniper and a kingmaker combo, and I got stuck in the rough twice on practice mode. So I did decide to try to do this shot, but I always give credit where credit's due. So 65% at max, and that really makes a lot of sense because I was playing at 40% at max, and I got caught in the rough twice. And then I bumped it up to 50% and still got stuck in the rough, but barely. So 65% at max. The thing that you have to know when you go to take this shot is you need a sniper in one bag and then you need a guardian in the other bag. Full side spin to the left, 5.5 bars of backspin. You're going to set your shot up with the sniper. So here you're seeing that we're setting up and we're favoring the left-hand side of the hole just like that. And then we switch to our Guardian, which is a more powerful club. So I assume that we're doing this because that sniper gets stuck in the rough, like I said, and maybe Neo is having the same problem. I don't know. But we switch to a more powerful club. This is a nice little trick in the game that I don't use too often, but I know a lot of players do with the club switching. Here we hit a perfect ball, and you're going to notice that even though we offset to the left, we still come into the right. So we could start to add more elevation to this shot, start playing at 70, 75%, or we could even try to offset even more to the left. But at least there's a decent look at the shot, and that's all I have for you on number 5. Hole number 6, we're going to play 10% at max. We're going to use a Titan here because we're getting tailwind. 1 bar of side spin to the left combined with 6 bars of top spin. So here I'm pushing up to see how much overpower I need to go from fairway to fairway to fairway. The only bad part is that second bounce is too close to the fairway line. So I'm 2 rings into overpower, and we know that because you can see that darkish line that's going through my rings. It's right there at the bottom of the orange. So that means if I pull my adjustment here, which in 5.3 wind is going to be 2.9 rings, 2.9, then I can turn this back around and I can push back up 2 rings. Now theoretically, if I hit a perfect ball, this ball should travel exactly the way that I want it to if I have the elevation right. So I've got 1. And so what I end up doing here is I just end up pushing up too much. But it's okay. You know, we're on the 3rd fairway, which is all that we can ask for. That's going to leave us with a difficult shot anyways to drop. This one's always tough to get. I've only got it a couple times in tournament play. But we're going to go with top spin combined with left side spin. And your spins are going to really vary based off your drive, you know, how far away shot number 2 is. But we do like the left side spin. We like the top spin combo until we start to get our ball guideline to look like this. The further you move your target over to the left and up, the more that ball guideline becomes developed. But this is a good spot for it. We make our adjustment here, 20% at max. Perfect ball. And typically what happens on this hole is normally we come in pin high. Just like that, and we end up missing. So, you know, keep that one in mind. That's a hard shot to drop. But hopefully some of you all are able to get that one. Hole number 7, 10% at mid. We're going to go with the quarterback, katana. Fullback, 1 bar is side spin to the left. And then from here, we're just trying to pick a spot to play on. I'm offsetting to the right-hand side, just like that. You know, but the thing that stinks about this replay and this shot is, you know, unfortunately, I hit myself a great ball to the left, and it was a pretty nasty great. So, you know, obviously this thing's going to be nowhere close. But I'll tell you that my opponent, when I took this shot, my opponent drove the rough. So maybe this one's giving some people some issues too. Hole number 8, we do have a drop shot for you. Holy cow, finally, right? We're going to use the rock. 4 top, 3 bars of side spin to the left. White ring right there on the left-hand side of the rough. Just up against it like that. Here we make our pull. We're not going to be using any curl on this shot. Perfect ball is going to be really essential. A great right would definitely be no good at all. You might be able to get away with a great left. But here, we're going to be taking our rough bump. And because we didn't get too far up on the drive, see, we would have liked to got a little farther up, but, you know, we don't want to gamble with it too much and stick ourselves in the rough. We're going to play this 10% at max, and I'm going to show you what could happen to you here. I'm going to play with my thorn at max. And then I'm going to spin into the hole. So we're going to be using right side spin. Now, I'm not a big fan of, you know, rough bumps and side spin. But you see here when I try to move my target to the hole, you see I have no more ball guideline. That's because I'm hitting the tree. So what I have to do is I have to play this one with more side spin. And again, of course, your side spin is going to vary depending on where you're at. But we're going to go with top spin and then right side spin. And then we're going to make sure that we're aiming center of the cup. And now the trees won't be in our way anymore since we're using side spin. We make our wind adjustment. Perfect ball. You see those branches right there, those leaves, and we're in the hole. Nice little funnel there to drop us into the hole for hole number 8. Now, the last thing here on hole number 9, everybody, this one I picked up a birdie on. So, and I'll tell you what went wrong here. The drive is good if you want to gamble with it. Now, I've got an extra mile 9, so I've got a bunch of top spin and then 2 bars of side spin to the right. I would imagine you could take this shot with a nice level Thor's hammer. I would imagine you could probably make this shot with a big topper. But, you know, I do think that in this wind angle, this is a great opportunity to get up to this middle fairway here. We go with no overpower and a little bit of curl to the right. Perfect ball. And this ball does do what we want it to do. We roll onto the fairway. Now, the thing that happened to me at this point is you see all these trees right here? I went for a rough bump, okay? I went for a rough bump. I hit the tree and dropped it into the water. So at that point, I'm like, holy cow, what do I do? So I end up laying up on my next shot to the right-hand side on that little bitty fairway, and then I was able to chip in a shot to save the birdie. So that's what you're looking at hole number 9. Play it however you want, but I think that's the best way to try to pick up a rough bump, but I wasn't anticipating, all these trees to give me an issue, and it was a really weird shot. Now, my opponent did the same thing, except he put 2 balls in the water as he was really gambling, try to get it done. So he picked up a par on this hole. So this one could give people a lot of problems. Best of luck. Tomorrow's an off day on Golf Clash, but I will see you all on Monday for the next full tournament. Thank you for watching.